Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Kentucky Downs here on Saturday. It is the 9th of September 2023. Gonna look at the 12th race from Kentucky Downs, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Get 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean around the world. We're gonna look at the featured 12th race from Kentucky Downs, which is a good one. It is the Kentucky Downs, it's the Kentucky Turf Cup. It's a grade 2 event going for a $1.7 million purse, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field here of 16 horses entered, but only 12 go to the, shall I say, kidney shaped. But if your kidneys are shaped like this course, please seek medical advice right away. But they're going to the turf course, the European style turf course. 12 horses, the distance of ground of 2,400 meters, or a mile and a half on the turf course. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 3-horse Verstappen, 311.81 in the superfecta, 311.81 super. Top selection, the 3-horse Verstappen. This 4-year-old gelded by Warfront, Brendan Walsh trains, Declan Cannon gets the mounts. The horse's most recent outing came 30th of July at Saratoga, mile 3/8 in the grade 2 Bowling Green, and he finished second by 2 lengths that day. Channel Maker ran a terrific race on the front end to win and really gamed it to the wire. This horse just kind of stalked. He quickened up a little bit that day, but Channel Maker just outgamed him. But he ran decently that day. Coming back to Kentucky Downs, where he ran a good race last year. I think he's been on the up and up. He's just not winning, but he's been running these good races against these similar quality horses. I think he's going to be in the right spot finally to win, and step up to win $1 million race. Two back in the Showster Memorial Mile at Indiana, mile 16th, 8th of July. He finished third by 2 1/4 lengths that day, and again, he sat back early. He slowly moved his way into it. I do think the trip was too short, but he did run a decent race there. And then at Belmont in mid-May, a mile 3/8 inner turf course in the Man Award, he finished 7th by 4.5 lengths that day, and he just never really showed up. Red Knight really, who's running back in this one today, really ran a terrific race, closing up from nowhere to win it. This horse just, stunk that day, to be honest with you. And then prior to that, in the Elkhorn over the Grade 2 race at Keeneland over the mile and a half at the end of April, he won by a head that day, and coming from the back of the pack, he was a little bit wide, but he really put on a show with a nice 95 buyer. He actually ran on the Tapeta before that Turfway, mile and 1/8 in the Kentucky Cup Classic, and he finished second by 4.5 lengths behind Wolfie's Diagnosed host, Ghost. One of those pronunciations is correct. You just pick it which one it was and comment below. But it was Daggett Ghost or whatever. But this horse, he plays behind him. The Wolfie's horse, he's a very good horse and loves the all-weather course. But this horse, he sat back early after a horrible trip early on, but was really gaining late. I just hope they run that Kentucky Cup Classic at a longer trip this year, maybe even a mile and a quarter, because a lot of those horses that have been coming out of that race the last 2 seasons have been running well in this kind of division. They've been using that race as like a springboard, and I think it's just a little bit too short, but maybe in the future they can. But before that, he ran over the longer trip at Turfway, a mile and a quarter in an optional 40 and he won by a neck that day, closing up from nowhere, good race. And then he won before that in mid-December, going a mile and a quarter quite nicely with an 84 buyer. He's definitely been on the improve. He likes this course. He hasn't won on it, but he's always run these good races here. Training well Turfway and at Saratoga. I'm going to give him a massive shot on the ticket. I think your second likeliest winner comes from the outside gate, the 11 horse here, Therapist, the old man for Michael Dubb, Mike Maker, and Javier Castellano. His most recent outing came in the UN at Monmouth, where he won by 1.5 lengths that day, closing up from nowhere. Very good race there. Before that, they ran the Chorleywood at Ellis over the mile and a quarter, where he finished second by a head that day, and he saved ground that day. He moved a little bit late, but he still needs something more there. And then the Louisville Stakes at Churchill, he finished 8th by 6 3/4 lengths. Never really showed up there, but his races over the winter at Gulfstream were quite impressive. He won the Tapeta in February and came back to win the Grade 2 Pan American in the at Gulfstream quite nicely against some decent horses. Coming back here, he's up there in age, but he looks like he has a bit of a renaissance in his career. He could definitely win. Even the 8-horse Never Explained at 8-1 for Sugar and Joel Rosario. He had a bad trip in the Arlington Million, and then prior to that in the Bowling Green, he just he was a little bit too late. I think he benefits with a little bit extra ground. He can win. I would use him in the pick 4 or any multi race that ends with this race, whatever you decide to play. But to recap my selection for the 12th from Kentucky Downs, it's the Kentucky Turf Cup. Gonna take the 3-horse Verstappen. Give kudos to the 11-horse Therapist and the 8-horse Never Explained. 311.81 Super, 311.8 to end off the multi-race wagers. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Cat 5. Good luck, everybody.